What's going on, guys? This is Sumner Healey, the land pioneer, and welcome to a new property video. We've got a gorgeous 2-acre lot just north of Joshua Tree out in San Bernardino County. But before I dive into this property, if you guys are unfamiliar with me, if you guys are unfamiliar with the land pioneer, our whole entire premise, our philosophy is offering discounted raw land with flexible, easy owner financing. Now, our belief is that most folks, realtors, landowners, they've overinflated the value of their land. They don't really know how to comp out land. And so they put these exorbitant prices, then you can't even get bank financing in most cases. And in a lot of cases, owners just don't want to carry a financing note. So we've kind of stepped in and said, you know what, let's even the playing field. Let's make land ownership available for anyone, right? Whether it's this property or looking at some of the other properties that we have, you're looking at $2,400, $5,700. We really got the full spectrum of affordable land. So let's touch on this property. This lot is 2 acres, like I said, just north of Joshua Tree. If you're unfamiliar with this area, this has really been a boom town post-COVID. Home prices have gone up by 51.5%. When home prices go up, land prices go up as well. Those two are correlated. It's been a really, really strong market. Now, part of the reason is because you've got this area that's stunning, right? You've got Joshua Tree National Park out here. If you've never been, I highly, highly recommend taking a trip out there. It gets a ton of annual traffic just because a lot of folks want to go visit it. It's a pretty special place, and there's really not any other places like Joshua Tree. Like when you go there, when you see the national park, you get it. And so there's a ton of folks that just go and show up there. And so it's kind of created this tourism business. And so folks have started building out a lot of Airbnbs in the area. Airbnbs have been a big driving factor for the Joshua Tree market. But beyond that, you know, during COVID and post-COVID, these adjacent cities, Los Angeles, San Diego, all these folks started to realize, hey, I'm vulnerable living in the city. I want to own an asset that I could go hide out on if the world gets crazy, and I want it to be in close proximity to me. And hopefully it's something that continues to appreciate. And so Joshua Tree has kind of been the focal point for folks wanting to own land in California. It's bar none one of the strongest markets. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means if you're looking for an asset that's going to appreciate, it's a good market to look at. If you're looking at an asset where you might be able to build out an Airbnb and turn it into like a cash flowing asset, good place to look. Or maybe you just love Joshua Tree, right? So this property is about 19 miles to get to the heart, the actual center of Joshua Tree. So 19 miles, you call it like a 30-minute drive or so. So not too far. If you actually go to the entrance, it's closer to like 17 miles to the entrance of Joshua Tree. But Google Maps plants it right in the focal point, right in the middle. So, maybe you just love Joshua Tree. Maybe you just love that high desert environment, right? I mean, this is what it looks like driving out to the property, all dirt roads lined with these beautiful mountain ranges out here in San Bernardino County. It's quiet living, right? It's kind of a refuge where people go and seek alternative ways of living. You don't have to worry so much about just the chaos of living in modern day society, right? It's a good place to kind of bug out and do your own thing, maybe focus on your passions, whether it be art, whether it be construction, and you want to go and develop the land. You've got a lot that you can do out here. And what's cool is it just kind of attracts a similar audience, right? So if you're into that avant-garde way of living, it's a great place to go. Anytime I visit the area, I just fall in love with the community. Now, there are some folks that are a little grumpy, right? Some folks that are not happy at the fact that this market has really appreciated, and so there's new money coming in, there's new people buying land. But unfortunately, that's just the way things go, right? And anyone has the access and availability to owning land out here, and they should have access and availability to owning land out here. So let's talk about this property in particular, 22.5. That's the discounted cash price, right? But here's the thing. I understand that most people plopping down $22,500 on a piece of land, it's a tall order, right? It's a lot of money. Most people don't have that liquid, but most people can make monthly payments for something like this, right? So in terms of owner financing, we're looking at $775 down, $478 a month for 60 months. And there's a $249 document prep fee. So in total, if you wanted to buy this property today, you're looking at a total of $1,000, $1,024. Not too shabby. Now, property taxes are high out here, right? You're looking at $520.43. We do prorate that into the monthly payment. This is certainly higher than normal, but it's just based off of the assessed value of the land. The land has a high assessment, therefore the taxes are relatively high on this property. Let's look at the total amount paid if you do finance it. Looking at 478 times 60, and then let me make sure that, 478 times 60, then you get a down payment of 775. Looking at 29,455 if you want to finance the lot, or you're buying out at 22,500. So really not a ton of premium when you factor in financing the land for 60 months. It's a pretty sweet deal to be able to finance property for 5 years and have no interest and just have a slight premium baked into the property. So this is certainly something worth looking into. Now let's talk about where this property sits in terms of kind of Joshua Tree, Sunfair Heights area. So this lot's right off of Sumner Road. It gives you really, really good access. It is a dirt road, but it's one of the better maintained roads out here. And so it's just going to give you pretty clean access getting to the property. You've got development close by, so that means that tapping into utilities is an option out here. You've got access to city water, so there's a Morongo water basin. You're within their district. You've got power lines out here. Now, there's always kind of the catch-22, right? Do you want to run city utilities to the property, or do you want to go with a more off-grid setup, right? Do you want to drill a well? Do you want to have solar on the property? It's something that you kind of have to pencil out and see what the math tells you. In a lot of cases, going with the more off-grid setup, not only is it more sustainable, in a lot of cases it can be cheaper. Sans the well, right? Usually drilling a well out here doesn't make a lot of sense. Well depths are going to be hundreds of feet in most cases. So tapping into city water is going to make a lot of sense. But running power lines to the property rarely does. We usually say going with solar or even a generator is going to be a lot more sustainable, and it's going to fit most people's budgets a lot easier. And so that's kind of what we would point most people towards. And of course, you're looking at septic. There's no sewer system out here of any kind. You've got some pretty cool little spots around the property. So you've got these boulder fields out here. So you're kind of looking at these boulder fields from the property. If you got family coming in town, you've got the RV and campground right over here. Kind of say, hey, you guys can go camp over there, or you can bring them on your property to go camp. And there's the world famous town of Landers, which is just kind of adjacent to this property. Landers is a really, really cool spot. It's kind of like the cultural epicenter of Joshua Tree area. It's where a lot of the artists hang out. There's just a really cool vibe out there. So you're right next to it, just adjacent to it. But Sunfair Heights is usually a little more quiet than what you'd find out here. But you'll see, the stargazing yurts out here. There's a lot of little cabins and retreats, a lot of yoga centers, a lot of kind of alternative medicine practices out here. So really special spot. Now, of course, if you guys have any questions about this property, we've included all the links down below. You can go directly to our website, thelandpioneer.com, read all about the property. If you love the land, you can place the down payment on the website. Just a click of a button, we'll get a notification. We'll draft up all the financing documents, have them sent to you within 2 business days, and you'll be off to the races, right? Maybe you want to go over to the site and look at other properties that we have. That's fine as well. We've got tons of new inventory in New Mexico, in Arizona, in Oregon, in Colorado. The list goes on. So we've got a lot to share with you. There's a lot to love on the website. And if you guys have any questions about land ownership, about really anything that we've discussed here today, reach out to me, right? I'm always here to respond to comments, respond to emails. My email is sumner@thelandpioneer.com. You can reach out to me directly there, and I'd be happy to connect with you guys. I really appreciate you watching this video, and we'll talk here shortly.